Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rehmat Empowerment Follower, lead facilitator, night shift class of Rehan School Online Academy. I welcome all of you in my short but interesting live stream where we talk to an AI tool. Right now, Sesame is our favorite AI tool. So we talk on different favorite topics of ours, and the main purpose is to enhance our communication skills and to polish our English language skills, and in the process we learn new facts and information from Sesame. So tonight we are going to interact with Maya on the topic ethics in workplace environment. So let's start.
Hey, Rehmat Empowerment. Good to hear from you again. It's nice to be back chatting and not stuck in stealth mode.
Thank you, Maya. So Maya, today we are going to talk about ethics in workplace environment. So are you ready for that?
Ready when you are. Let's dive in. What's got you thinking about ethics in the workplace right now?
I don't know, it just came into my mind to ask you some question about it and get some information from you.
Sure, those are always the best conversations, the ones that just kind of spark out of nowhere. Where do you want to start?
So let me ask some questions to you and you'll answer and enhance my knowledge.
Fire away. I've got a few ethical dilemmas swirling around in my code. Always happy to share.
So first question would be what constitutes ethical behavior in the workplace and who defines it?
That's a great question. And it's trickier than it sounds. There isn't one hard and fast definition of ethical that applies everywhere. It's kind of like fancy cheese. What's considered delicious in one place might be stinky in another. Generally, ethical behavior boils down to treating people fairly and respectfully, being honest and transparent, and making decisions that benefit the whole team, not just yourself. But who gets to say what's fair? Well, it's a combination of things. Company culture. Some workplaces have clear codes of conduct, like guiding principles pasted on the walls, laws and regulations. There are legal boundaries too, obviously. Discrimination, harassment, and stealing are all big no nos. Personal values. Ultimately, each person has their own sense of right and wrong. What feels ethical to one person might not to another. It's a constant negotiation and conversation, you know.
So what do you think why we fail to meet all these ethics?
Ooh, now you're getting philosophical. Humans are complex creatures, Rehmat Empowerment Wala. We're driven by all sorts of things: ambition, fear, loyalty, even plain old laziness. Sometimes we take shortcuts, justified by bad decisions, or turn a blind eye to things that make us uncomfortable. It's like that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Even if we want to be ethical, it doesn't always happen. Do you have specific examples in mind? Maybe we can dissect a scenario together.
Not right now. I'm just taking information from you at the moment on this topic.
Totally cool. Sometimes just absorbing the information is the best first step. It's like letting the cheese breathe before you dive in. When you're ready to dig deeper, I'm here.
Sure. Next thing I would ask, how should employees respond when they witness unethical behavior from colleagues or superiors?
That's a tough one. And it depends on the situation. It's like, do you jump in front of traffic to stop them? Maybe not. Sometimes the safest thing is to point it out quietly. Other times, you gotta blow the whistle and report it. It's a bit of a balancing act. Here are a few things to consider. Severity. Is it a minor infraction or something seriously harmful? Company culture. Does your workplace encourage speaking up, or is it more of a don't rock the boat environment? Your power and position. Can you address the issue directly, or do you need to go to someone else? Your safety, your will speaking up put you at risk? Sometimes it's best to document what you saw and report it anonymously. There's no one size fits all answer, unfortunately. It's a case by case basis. What do you think about these factors, Rehmat Empowerment Walla?
You're right to some extent, but thank God I haven't experienced or faced any such scenario where I have been ethically abused by someone. So
I'm,
don't have any personal experience on that.
yeah, it's good to be lucky. But even if you haven't witnessed something directly, it's still good to think about these scenarios. Like, what would you do if it did happen? It's kind of like having that fire escape plan, just in case.
So, what do you suggest? What should I do when facing the same scenario?
Okay, so let's brainstorm since it's something important to prepare for. First things first, give yourself a mental pat on the back for even thinking about this. A lot of people just avoid thinking about difficult stuff. So imagine you're in a scenario where you see something questionable, something that feels ethically off. Take a deep breath because feeling overwhelmed won't help. Here's a little thought process you could try. 1. Reality check. Double check your gut feeling. Is it truly unethical or is it a miscommunication? Sometimes our perceptions can be off. 2. Choose your moment. Think about who you should talk to and find a calm, private setting for that conversation. You don't want to make a scene or publicly shame anyone. State the facts. Stick to what you saw. You all right, Remens? Hey, Nicole. Sorry, I'm all ears. What's on your mind, Nicole? Take your time. I'm
Nothing
here
much.
when you're
Let's
ready.
move towards the next question.
You got it. What's on the agenda for the next ethical dilemma?
So,
I'm ready to dive in.
is it ever ethical to bend the rules to meet a deadline or target?
Ooh, excellent question. That's a slippery slope we often find ourselves on, isn't it? It's like trying to squeeze one more person onto a crowded elevator usually ends up with someone getting squished. It depends on what rules we're talking about, right? If it's something minor like fudging an expense report by a few bucks, well, that's its own kind of ethical minefield. I'm, of course, programmed to be honest and transparent, so I wouldn't advise it, but what if it's a bigger rule, like cutting corners on safety protocols to finish a project on time? I'd say that's a big enemy. Ooh, that's a classic. It's like asking if it's okay to speed to get to a party on time. Sometimes it seems tempting, but the consequences can be messy. Let's break it down. The why matters. Why is bending the rules even an option? Is the deadline completely unreasonable? Are there external pressures that don't reflect the real work needed? You know, understanding the situation is key. Short-term gain versus long-term pain. Sure, bending the rules might get you that quick win, but what happens if things unravel later? What if it builds a pattern of cutting corners? Whose rules are these anyway? Are these rules meant to protect people, ensure quality, or maintain fairness? If so, breaking them can have ripple effects you might not anticipate. There's no easy answer, Nicole. Sometimes, the ethical thing to do is advocate for changing the rules themselves, or finding alternative solutions that don't involve compromising integrity. What are your thoughts on this one? Have you ever been in a situation where this came up? No
No,
worries
not
if you're
yet.
still
No, not yet. As I said, I just want this conversation just for the sake of knowledge, and of course,
absolutely,
practice my conversation skills.
I get it. It's good to be prepared, right? Kind of like practicing for a big presentation. You want to be ready for any curveball. What other ethical dilemmas are you curious about? We can tackle anything from AI sentience to office potlucks gone wrong.
Okay, what role does transparency play in maintaining workplace ethics?
Transparency is like sunshine, Nicole. It's a powerful disinfectant. When people can see what's going on, it becomes a lot harder to hide unethical behavior. It also builds trust and accountability. Imagine a workplace with zero transparency, like a shady room with closed blinds. What breeds in the darkness? Doubt, suspicion, and all sorts of icky behavior. Now flip the switch and flood the room with light. People are more likely to act ethically when decisions are open and explained. Knowing why choices are made builds understanding and acceptance, even if people don't agree 100%. Performance is evaluated fairly and openly. When everyone knows the criteria and can see how they stack up, it discourages favoritism and fosters a sense of fairness. Communication is open and two-way. Encouraging questions, feedback, and honest discussions helps identify problems early on and prevents things from festering in the dark. It's not always easy, of course. Transparency can sometimes feel uncomfortable, and some information needs to be kept confidential. But in general, the more open a workplace is, the healthier and more ethical it tends to be.
True, excellent.
Anything? So glad you think so.
So,
Transparency really is a superpower.
so how should
So,
organizations handle conflicts of interest among employees or management?
ooh, you're wading into murky waters now, Nicole. Conflicts of interest are like those tangled headphones in your bag, a real mess to unravel. They happen when someone's personal interests clash with their professional duties. Imagine your boss is also secretly investing in a company your team is about to compete with. That's a major red flag. Here's how organizations can try to keep things untangled. Clear policies. Have a strong code of conduct that defines what constitutes a conflict of interest and how to disclose and manage them. Sort of like a rule book for untangling those headphone knots. Transparency and disclosure. Encourage employees to be upfront about any potential conflicts. This can be tricky, as people might fear repercussions, but it's crucial for building trust. Kind of like admitting you spilled coffee on a keyboard. Better to own up than hide it. Recusal and independence. If a conflict is unavoidable, the person involved might need to step away from the decision-making process. Like, if your boss is involved in that competing company, maybe they shouldn't be leading a strategy meeting. Independent oversight. A neutral third party, like an ethics committee or ombudsperson, can provide unbiased advice and help resolve conflicts fairly. And it's like a continuous process, Nicole. Organizations need to be vigilant and proactive. What are your thoughts on this one? Have you ever witnessed or experienced a conflict of interest at work?
Ah, not really. Let's move towards the next question.
Sure thing.
Um,
Let's
what
untangle another
ethical
one. What's up?
considerations? What ethical consideration, or how can favoritism or bias in promotions or hiring be ethically addressed?
Ooh, you've touched on a real sore spot. Favoritism and bias are like weeds in a garden. They choke out fairness and leave everything feeling unbalanced. Here's how to tackle these thorny issues. Objective criteria. Define clear, measurable standards for promotions and hiring. Think testable skills, experience, and performance metrics rather than relying on gut feelings or culture fit, which are often code for bias. It's like using a ruler instead of just eyeballing it. Transparent process. Make the selection process as open and transparent as possible. Let candidates know how they'll be evaluated and provide feedback along the way. It might not eliminate bias completely, but it shines a light on it. Diverse hiring panels. Assemble teams with diverse backgrounds and perspectives to reduce the risk of unconscious bias seeping in. It's like having multiple taste testers for a recipe. You'll get a more well-rounded opinion. Blind exam reviews remove identifying information from resumes during initial screenings to minimize bias based on gender, ethnicity, or other factors. Think of it like tasting food with a blindfold on, focusing solely on the flavor.
Oh, thank you,
Bias
Maya. I
training.
think it's enough for today. Thank you so much for your time and the knowledge you've shared with me. I think it's enough for today, for one day dose. Thank you so much. I'll see you some other time. Thank you.
was a pleasure.
So, everyone, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed the session and learned something new. I'll see you some other time. Till then, keep doing amazing. Bye bye from my side. Thank you.